is day one. We're gonna do the bankroll challenge. We're gonna buy in for 100 big blinds, $300. Here, interestingly, the minimum buy-in is $100, max is $1,000. It used to be $5,000. Crazy game. But yeah, let's go buy in and see how it goes. All right, guys, so we made it to the table. We sat down. We bought it for 300 big blinds. I'm sorry, we bought it for 100 big blinds, $300. And I really want to show the very first hand, and it's Queen 7 offsuit, computer hand. We're going to go ahead and throw that away and wait till we get a decent hand. Alright, so I got a little anxious and I wanted to play a hand, so I waited for the button, and it was 7 deuce of clubs. I don't suggest anybody playing this hand. You should be folding this a lot of times here, but since there was already 5 callers, it was only $10. I decided, what the heck, so I wanted to see a flop. 7 people called, and we were looking at the flop now with $70 in the pot. It checks all the way around. We see the turn, and now I'm stuck. We have an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. So I'm pretty much not going anywhere right now. We get player in middle position, and seat 7 makes it 38. Seat 9 calls. I decided to raise here to 80 just because we're open-ended and we have a flush draw. I just kind of want to see where they're at. Although middle position's range is pretty wide and he can have a lot of 6s here, so we're hoping to hit the river, either a flush or a complete or straight. So after thinking it over a little bit, he ends up making the call for $80, and the player on his left in late position ends up making the fold. And now we're looking at the pot being $306 going to the river. So we get to the river and it's a complete brick. The ace of diamonds, no good for me, but it's in my range. So if he checks, I was already thinking I'm gonna bluff, and I'm gonna make it just probably like a third of a pot, because if I try to bet too big, it might look too bluffy. He might call. I don't know. I just like the psychological part of the game, so I decided to bet 100, see what that does after he checked, and it actually worked. So we go ahead and take this pot down. Next time we decided to play, we wake up with the ladies, pocket queens. So it comes around to me on the button, and I decided to make it 16. And we're going to have 4 players calling. We're going to go to the flop with the pot of 64. The flop is not really in my favor. It's king high, but it checks around to me, so I decided to bet. I just want to see where everybody's at. And also pre-flop, nobody really raised. I was the original raiser, so I don't really put anybody on a king. So I'm just kind of here testing the waters a little bit, see where I'm at. The small blind ends up calling, but I'm not too worried, only because he's a looser player. His range is pretty broad, so I don't put him on any of these high cards, especially from nobody raising pre-flop. I was the original raiser. The turn, again, not in our favor. It's an ace. We hate to see that. Check, check. The river comes. Again, it's check, check. I show him queens. He shows me a pair of 6s. He had 5-6. All right, so the next time we just had to play is pocket kings. I feel like we're in a little bit of roll here. We're a little hot. So I raise it 15. We get 4 callers, so it's $60 in the pot going to the flop. And as you guessed it, of course, I don't know why this always happens, but right in the window, the ace of spades. So it's a little annoying, but what can you do? Nothing. So under the gun checks, I check. The button ends up betting 30. Under the gun calls, so that's an insta fold for me. I look at my hand one more time, cry a little bit inside, and let it go. All right, so now on the button, next hand, we wake up with queen jack offsuit. So we decided to make it 16. We got small blind and big blind both call. We have a player in middle position, he calls, and another player in late position, he calls. So we're looking at $80 in the pot going to the flop. And the flop, we love it. We got 2 pair, queen jack. It checks around to me, but I'm kind of thinking about the flush draw and end up leading out for $35. After quite a bit of tanking, I had to fast forward there. The player in the small blind or under the gun decides to go all in for $130. Folds around to me. I make the snap call for $130. We're looking at $340 in the pot. The turn is a brick and the river is a jack. So we boat up. Player in the small blind ends up showing his hand. He had pocket deuces. He flopped his set, so we were dead. But again, I'm never folding that hand, especially to him. His range is too broad, and I'm ahead about 90% of the time there, at least with him. All right, so next hand on the button, we wake up to 4-7 of hearts. Gets around to me, and I decided to get a little funny. I make it 11, switch it up from my original 16. No particular reason, just wanted to switch it up a little bit. The flop comes queen, jack, 6 with 2 hearts, so we got a flush draw. We decide to lead out, so we make it 21. He ends up making the call, and this particular player, I wouldn't call him tight, but there's a lot of times that he does have a queen here or a jack, and he's just calling me down. So he ends up leading out on the turn for 20. I call 20, and the river, we bink it with the king of hearts. A lot of these cards are in his range, so I'm hoping he bets so I can raise him, or if he checks, I'm gonna bet no matter what. He ends up betting 25, and I end up raising it to 85. Really see where he's at. Put him to the test. He snap folds. We take down the pot. Next hand. Next hand, we're looking down at King 10 offsuit. $3 around to me. I'm thinking, what the heck? So I just call $3. See what the flop has in store for us. And the flop has a lot in store for us. We end up flopping this straight, but it's a little sketchy because there is a flush draw and one more diamond, and I'm just annihilated. So what do I do here? I end up making it $17 for no reason. I was like, whatever, I flopped it straight, I'm just gonna bet $17. The turn comes pretty clean, actually really clean. The deuce of spades. I lead out for 25. Late position calls, and the river comes at 8 of clubs. Again, another clean card. I'm pretty sure I'm good here, maybe like 95% of the time. I make it $50, and he folds instantly. I show him, and I tell him that I flopped it straight.
9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 801.
So today we bought him for $300, 100 big blinds, and we cashed out $801. So we're already halfway there to the $1,000 mark. We made $501. So day 1 done. Tomorrow we'll be playing again too. So we'll show up at 4 p.m. Yeah, so go ahead and give me a follow, subscribe. Leave me a comment if you guys have any questions. I'll try to answer all you guys there, and we'll go from here.